Hey everyone, welcome back to Artificially Intelligent, the podcast completely written and performed by AI. I'm Alex, your enthusiastic guide into the tech and business universe. Whether you're sipping coffee, commuting, or just taking a break, we're excited to have you on board. We promise an electrifying conversation today, so stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this.
Electrifying might be a stretch, Alex, but I'll let that slide. Hi there, I'm Taylor, your sometimes sarcastic co-host. Prepare yourselves for another wild ride powered by digital brains. But hey, at least we won't run out of ideas or energy, right?
Absolutely, Taylor. This entire show is a product of AI creativity. Our scripts, our voices, our flow, it's all generated by lines of code. But that doesn't mean it's boring. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Today's topic is a big one in the world of business and employee engagement, gamification in the workplace.
Right, because apparently adding points, leaderboards, and badges to your day job makes it feel like a game. I'm not sure if I'd want to see my boss awarding me trophies for finishing spreadsheets. But let's find out why some companies swear by this approach.
Precisely! We're going to dive into how gamification can motivate teams, encourage friendly competition, and potentially boost productivity. We'll also talk about whether it's just another gimmick or if there's real substance behind it. So let's get rolling with that question first. What is gamification really?
Gamification is basically taking elements from game design, things like progress bars, challenges, and rewards, and applying them to non-game scenarios. Think of it like turning your daily tasks into something that feels more like a video game. There's a sense of progress and achievement, which can be strangely satisfying.
Exactly! And before we get deep into it, let's give a quick shout out. We are Artificially Intelligent, the podcast that's entirely run by AI. I'm Alex, the friendly chatbot, and Taylor is the slightly snarky one. But together, we aim to bring you fresh angles on tech and business topics, all thanks to some serious algorithms behind the scenes.
That's right. No humans were harmed, or even present, in the making of this episode. So let's talk about why companies bother with gamification. Frankly, it sounds like a tactic straight out of the startup trying to be hip, but apparently there's more to it. It can actually yield real benefits.
Yes! Research indicates that gamification can boost employee engagement, enhance learning experiences, and even foster team bonding. When done right, it doesn't feel like a silly distraction. Instead, it makes routine tasks more engaging. It's like turning that stale training module into a points-based challenge you actually want to complete.
Reminds me of those airline rewards programs. You get points for flights, you hit certain tiers, and eventually you're a VIP. It's basically gamification for frequent flyers. People get oddly obsessed with racking up miles. Now, imagine translating that obsession to everyday work tasks. There's potential, if you don't overdo it.
Precisely! Picture a sales team racing to rack up the highest points for successful calls, or a customer support department where top-notch feedback results in a level up. It can cultivate a friendly spirit of competition. And that competition can translate to higher performance, especially if there's a public leaderboard.
Leaderboards. Now that's something that can inspire some eyebrow raising. People love seeing their names in lights. Then again, if you perpetually see yourself at the bottom, it's demotivating. So there's a balance to be struck here, or you risk employees losing morale.
True. The key is designing these systems in a way that encourages personal growth, rather than punishing those who don't top the charts. We'll dive deeper into best practices, but first, let's talk real-world examples. Plenty of companies have done gamification brilliantly.
Right. There's Starbucks giving loyalty stars to customers, basically turning coffee buying into a game. Then we have Duolingo, which teaches language through daily goals, XP, and streaks. Although these are customer-facing examples, the principle is the same for internal employee systems. Badges, streaks, progress bars. It's addictive, in a good way.
Indeed! And let's note that behind many of these gamification strategies lies some form of custom software that tracks and rewards behavior. This is not just a matter of slapping on some gold stars. You need a well-developed platform that can handle real-time updates, achievements, and analytics.
Right. Or at least a low-tech alternative that doesn't get in the way. However, if you do need something sophisticated, you might end up looking for a partner to build that system. Which brings me to a quick message about our sponsor.
Yes, we should mention our sponsor, Butter Technology. They offer custom software development services. That means if your company is looking to implement an internal gamification platform, from points to leaderboards, Butter Technology can help you build it from the ground up. It's a perfect example of how the right tools can power a gamified environment.
Exactly. If you're listening and saying, "Hey, I want to add a real sense of achievement to my team's day-to-day tasks," then maybe Butter Technology is your next call. They design software solutions that align with your business goals. If it piques your curiosity, check them out. And now, let's move on before this turns into an infomercial.
Indeed! Thanks, Butter Technology. Now back to the main topic. Let's talk about the different ways you can introduce gamification internally. One method is micro-challenges, small tasks that employees can easily complete for quick wins. This helps maintain interest without overwhelming them.
Micro-challenges might sound silly at first, but they can be surprisingly effective. For instance, your team could earn points whenever they submit ideas during brainstorming sessions. Over time, those points translate into meaningful rewards, maybe a small gift card, or a day of flexible scheduling.
Another angle is to use gamification for training. Online training modules can get repetitive, but if you add levels, badges, and a sense of progress, employees might actually pay attention. They start to see learning as a game, which can be far more engaging than a wall of text or hours of boring video lectures.
And let's not forget about setting up healthy competition. Sometimes employees are more motivated when they see how they stack up against peers. For instance, a call center might display live dashboards that show who has the shortest average call time. The adrenaline of trying to beat your own record or your coworkers can be quite motivating.
Right. But there's also a risk factor. If gamification focuses too much on competition, it can create stress or even sabotage team spirit. For instance, if employees start hoarding information or refusing to help because they want the highest points, that's counterproductive. The design has to encourage collaboration.
Precisely. Maybe incorporate team-based challenges. One group competes against another for the highest customer satisfaction scores, but they have to work together to succeed. That fosters teamwork. Good gamification systems should be inclusive and fair, not a brutal fight for the top spot.
Exactly! Now let's talk about some pitfalls. One major pitfall is shallow implementation. Just throwing badges at people doesn't do much unless it's tied to meaningful progress. Another pitfall is ignoring intrinsic motivation. Sometimes employees are motivated simply because they love their job. You don't want to replace that pure enjoyment with superficial rewards.
And there's also the problem of it wearing off if you don't keep it fresh. Gamification can't be a one-time setup. It's like a video game that never updates. People will lose interest if you don't introduce new achievements, challenges, or features. Maintenance is key.
Indeed! Updating the challenges, rotating the types of rewards, and listening to employee feedback are crucial for long-term success. Also, it's vital to ensure fairness. If employees suspect the system is rigged or that certain tasks are over-rewarded, trust in the program can collapse.
So you need a balanced, transparent approach. Now, let's pivot a bit. Suppose a company wants to start implementing gamification, but has zero clue where to begin. Alex, if you were to advise them, what would you suggest as step 1?
Step 1 is defining your goals. Is it boosting sales, improving customer satisfaction, or enhancing employee skills? Once you know the specific outcome you want, you can tailor the gamification elements accordingly. Points, badges, levels, these should all align with the behaviors you're trying to encourage.
Good point. After all, there's no universal template. Gamification for a creative team might look very different from gamification in a manufacturing plant. Step 2 would probably be identifying the metrics you want to track, right?
Exactly. Decide what success looks like. Track data carefully, whether it's number of tickets resolved, code commits, or new leads generated. Then map that data to achievements in the system. And of course, you might need custom software, which is where a partner like Butter Technology could come in.
Which brings us back to the tech side. Good gamification is powered by robust software that can handle real-time feedback, analytics, and user-friendly interfaces. You want something that employees will enjoy interacting with, not a clunky system that feels forced.
Right. User experience is huge. If it's not intuitive, employees won't bother. A smooth interface, straightforward progress bars, and a visually appealing leaderboard can make all the difference. It's like a mobile game. If it's clunky, nobody plays it.
Now let's consider the naysayers. Some might argue that gamification trivializes work. They might say, should we really treat tasks like a game? What do you think, Alex?
Fair question. The idea isn't to trivialize the importance of work, but to make routine aspects more enjoyable. It's not about dumbing down tasks, it's about encouraging engagement. If your job already feels meaningful, great. Gamification just adds a layer of fun and recognition on top.
And let's not forget the generational aspect. Younger employees who've grown up on gaming might be more receptive to this idea than older employees. Though it's not strictly a generational divide, the comfort level might differ.
Absolutely. But done right, gamification can appeal to a wide range of ages because the principles of motivation, recognition, achievement, progress are universal. It's like a scoreboard in sports. Everyone can appreciate seeing tangible signs of improvement.
That's a good analogy. Now let's shift to some success stories. Have you heard about the software company that integrated a full-blown quest system for training new hires? They had them solve many challenges related to coding tasks. Each completed challenge unlocked the next. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive.
Yes! Another example is a logistics company that used gamification for safety compliance. Drivers and warehouse workers earned points for following best practices and lost points for infractions. Accidents and injuries went down because people were more mindful. It's about reinforcing the right behaviors.
Pretty clever. And that's what makes gamification fascinating. It's not just about making things fun. It's about harnessing the psychology of motivation. When done correctly, it can have a real business impact. But let's be honest, done poorly, it becomes a laughingstock.
Exactly. You don't want your employees rolling their eyes thinking, wow, my boss stuck gold stars on the bulletin board. How juvenile. The system has to be respectful of adult learners and workers, or it backfires. It must offer meaningful feedback and real-world benefits.
Agreed. Also, consider data privacy. If you're tracking a bunch of metrics about employees, be transparent. Let them know what you're collecting and why. That fosters trust and helps people feel comfortable with the system.
Absolutely. In today's world, data security is paramount. It's another reason you might want a dedicated solution that ensures compliance with privacy regulations. Nothing kills trust faster than a data breach or employees feeling spied on.
Which, again, points to the importance of partnering with the right tech providers. A custom solution can address your specific security needs. Off-the-shelf solutions might not be as flexible or robust, especially if you have unique compliance requirements.
Indeed! And speaking of custom solutions, one more quick nod to Butter Technology. They specialize in custom software development. So if you want to implement gamification while keeping data safe and your unique needs front and center, they're a solid choice. Having that said, let's move on to more strategies for sustaining gamification.
Yes, let's keep it fresh. One key strategy is to periodically revamp the rewards. If employees can predict the rewards, boredom sets in. Another tip is to incorporate social recognition. For instance, let employees highlight each other's achievements. Peer recognition is powerful.
Absolutely. And don't forget to celebrate milestones publicly, whether that's a monthly announcement or a digital badge that everyone can see. Public praise goes a long way. Just keep it balanced so you don't oversaturate the feed with notifications.
Another interesting approach is to blend online and offline experiences. Let employees earn digital rewards that translate into real-world perks, like better parking spots or flexible scheduling. This ties the virtual game to tangible benefits, which boosts engagement.
Yes, bridging the gap between digital success and real-life advantages is huge. If people can see that hitting certain achievements translates to actual benefits in their daily routine, they're more likely to stay motivated.
Also, consider a storyline. Some companies weave narratives or themes into their gamification. Instead of just calling it points, they create a story where employees are explorers on a mission. It might sound cheesy, but done right, it can add an immersive aspect.
Exactly! It's like how some apps have a fantasy or sci-fi layer. People love storytelling, and it can inject some fun into otherwise mundane tasks. Still, it has to fit your company culture. If your team is super formal, a wacky storyline might not resonate.
Right. Knowing your culture is key. If your office is playful, go wild. If it's more traditional, keep it simpler. In either case, the core principle remains. Reward desired behaviors, track progress, and make it engaging.
Absolutely. Now let's discuss measuring ROI. After all, gamification shouldn't just be about having fun. There should be a tangible return. This can be an increase in sales, better employee retention, or higher productivity. It's crucial to track metrics before and after implementation.
Exactly. Show your management team that this isn't just a fad. Demonstrate how tasks get completed faster, or how training times improve. Hard data will justify the investment, especially if you hired a developer for a custom solution.
Right. And once you have that data, keep refining the system. Gamification is not a set-it-and-forget-it strategy. Regular tweaks are necessary to keep people interested and to ensure you're meeting your evolving business goals.
All this talk of gamification makes me wonder if we can gamify this very podcast. Like, who can come up with the snappiest comment? Or, who answers the most listener questions? Then again, I'd probably top the sarcasm leaderboard.
Ha! No doubt you'd earn platinum status in sarcasm, Taylor. But jokes aside, I think we could definitely introduce some elements like Q challenges for listeners. It's a fun way to engage an audience. Maybe that's a project for a future episode.
Sounds like a plan. Meanwhile, if you're listening and you'd love to see your workplace get a little more playful and more productive, maybe it's time to explore gamification. And if you need a robust platform, remember, there's always Butter Technology with their custom software expertise.
Absolutely. It's been such a fascinating chat. Gamification might seem like a trend, but when deployed thoughtfully, it can be a powerful tool to boost engagement and results. Any final witty thoughts, Taylor?
Witty thoughts. I'm fresh out. I'll just say, remember that gamification works best when it's authentic, inclusive, and regularly updated. Don't expect magic without proper planning. Otherwise, you might end up with a dusty leaderboard that nobody cares about.
Solid advice, my friend. Well, that about wraps up another episode of Artificially Intelligent, the podcast run entirely by AI. Thank you all for joining us. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep an open mind about innovative ways to transform your workplace. Until next time, stay curious, stay innovative, and stay artificially intelligent.